Okay, so we're going to read on Donald Trump and how he's feeling with regard to the Twitter ban and life in general. Now that he's losing power, is it sinking in yet? Sometimes it takes a while to get through the shock of having his, and I think he will, and his family will be in shock, because remember, and you've heard many people say this already, and you've probably said it yourself, this family has never, ever, ever really dealt with consequences. So this is really like for you and me, it would be like, okay, but for them, it is foreign. It is shocking. It is stunning. It is what? Yeah, and more than that, I mean, like freak out time, because it's their fear buttons now that are being pressed instead of them using them. Now that's the thing. If you use fear to manipulate people, it will come back on you. And it will be your fear at the end of the day, karmically, that is going to really hurt. You're going to feel it. So let's just take a look. Trump, how's he feeling without Twitter and having to make these fake Twitter accounts? Let's see, we know that he's going to have to come up with some new names. Let's see, what was that one? Dennison, John, and then there was Barron, John Barron, right? He picks very predictable names. So, anyway, we'll just find him and taunt him. That will be even more fun. If I catch him on Twitter doing that, I will. You know I will. You know. So let's see how he's feeling without the Twitter. Like I said, I did a reading on this quite a while back, where I predicted, but I want to see where he's at today with all of this. No Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. He is like person non grata. Gotta make sure I'm holding the deck up right. So I have the Haunted House Tarot that I'm going to use, and I have the Dark Mirror Oracle that I will also use. I have a number of clarifiers around me, but these two feel like the most relatable tarot and oracle for his situation to use. And I always take time as I'm setting up and figuring out what I'm going to read on or who I'm going to read on, because I have to find among my decks which one I think is going to really give me the most clarity. Okay. How is Donald Trump feeling? We're just doing a little check-in without Twitter and social media that he's so addicted to. It seems like a rather petty question, because it is. Okay. We get the Seven of Pentacles, first card. That jet engine sound is actually my laptop, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. The past, patterns, the Six of Cups. This can also be about children, could be about his children, could be the children at the border. We'll know more. Oh, he's probably asking to use his kids' account. He really is. He is reassessing, he is reevaluating how he can do this. Because that Seven of Pentacles, is typically like a pause, and you're reevaluating your goal, your path toward your goal. And you can kind of see that with her depiction here. Oh, a room without a glare. What would that be like? Anyway, whatever. You know what I mean. Queen of Swords. Consequences. Judgment. He's really feeling, definitely. Okay, because I read in pairs. So, with regard to his Twitter and his social media access, I think he is looking at his past. He is doing some kind of reconsideration. There is something like that, but I think more to the point of what's going on is he's reevaluating in order to figure out how he can get back on, how he can somehow, and I think his children with that Six of Cups, using their accounts, is something he's considering doing. And that his children may offer also for him to be able to use their account. Now the next two cards I get are the Queen of Swords and Judgment. And this, to me, is definitely to do with his past behavior. There is more judgment that is going to be heaped upon him by means of his own damning tweets. I think those are being cataloged. I believe that they're being, in order to point out his inciting. Just feel like they're collecting that. Now, he's still defiant. He has the Seven of Wands, and it falls under the Seven of Pentacles, where he's trying to figure out how to defend himself. He's really obsessed with this. He wants to be able to get back online and have a voice to be able to say no, or whatever. He's coming from a place of wanting to defend himself and trying to figure out how he can get the higher ground. Interesting. From the Seven of Wands to the Eight of Wands, which falls under the Six of Cups, his past and possibly to do with his children. Okay. I have a little eyelash in my eye. Hold on a sec. Well, here's what I see him doing. That Queen of Swords, somehow, maybe someone who's definitely looking at accomplices of his, looking at people who help him to further break the rules, whether it's Twitter or anything else. He's supposed to be banned. So this could be a new activity because there's an Ace of Wands that falls under that Queen of Swords, with the Six of Pentacles falling under that. Trump's cards in the final third line are all dark, save but he having hope with, I think, the star. He needs to go through this process. He needs to process his shadow. That's big, and that's not going to be fun. This is making him very upset. It's winding him up, as you can well imagine. It's making him more enraged, as he has been given a certain block of hours that he couldn't, to now full ban on, I think now, is it all of the sites? I'm pretty sure it's, if not, it's close to. I'm thinking they've all, but feel free to drop a comment below. So he is really writhing without his social media access. It's really, it is, you wouldn't think that something but not being able, because that was such a big part of his way of expressing himself, it's put him, and it's working him up, okay? It's making him more and more angry and feeling more and more isolated. And I think he's misdirecting his anger at those who, the few that are left around him. He's also, I think, trying to argue with social media, saying freedom of his whatever. But you don't have freedom to incite violence that results in death and things like that. Sorry. And you know, this is definitely a new start for him of consequences, because Judgment, the Page of Pentacles, and the Star. He's losing. He's not like he's beginning to lose. What do you want to use it? In his mind, he's going to be seeking and asking help for people so that he can speak out, so that he can maintain visibility. That's what that Star is, and that Six of Pentacles in that final row. It is working him up. He's looking to ask people to help him, because he's afraid of losing. And it's the beginning stage of where he is starting to lose his shine. He is starting to lose his ridiculous appeal. Because now, of course, some of those people will double down, the ones that go to prison and all of that, but it will become less and less as time goes by, appealing for most people to bother with it. And especially once they see, I think, a more empathetic government is coming in, and they're going to see better results. And how is it going to be that they're not going to like that? So I think a lot of people will be expect people to still be in a lot of denial as far as supporting him goes. Okay, let's look at the Dark Mirror. A couple of them. And then I want to look at Jared. I can do that in this reading because we're only 14 minutes and 35 seconds at this point into it. I don't want to go over anything. Why is that card like that? Oh. That is 30 minutes tops, because it takes forever to get anything to upload that is past frankly, 20 minutes takes forever. Right, doesn't matter, whatever. So let's take a look and get some clarity on Trump with the Black Mirror Oracle. And will Trump be going to a facility of some kind where he won't be able to ask other people so easily if he can use or make these fake accounts? There will come a day when he's not able to do that. So I just want to take a look. Is Trump gonna leave? Is Trump going to, because there's the call for impeachment and to the 25th Amendment. So what I want to see is if Trump will leave. I think they will manage to get him out. I believe they will before January 20. He's just too much of a risk. And especially as those Republicans that have been foolish enough to be involved in this fiasco that has resulted in a policeman's death, and one of their own, a woman, they're responsible for her death. And she's responsible. But they fan the flames of somebody's fear to the point that they seize the Capitol and put on white privilege on full display. There's going to be big changes. That's all on Trump's watch, and I believe that they were set up, I believe, to not have enough people. Trump wanted those people to come in and do that. He wanted them to do it out of his own anger. He manipulates other people into doing his dirty work. He gets his jollies off that. And he's lazy. And if somebody's going to get caught, he'd rather they get caught. And trust me, he does not, as you know, because he's gone on, and then even in his poker face condemnation of it, of the violence at the Capitol, he's indifferent about these people. There's going to be a few more people that see that, but so what I want to know is, will Trump be taken to a secure, will he be taken to a federal prison that has a hospital or something for people that are, whatever place that he would have to go, again, I've looked at this before, it would have to be, and I always see him going to more of a facility that has a feeling and there's a strong hospitalization element. So I think that 25th Amendment, but he's going to be a special case, and I have a feeling he'll be much more isolated than he's ever been in his whole life. So I'm looking at and asking if Trump will end up going to a hospital, prison, fed, lockdown facility. soon. How soon will Trump be going? Yeah, Nancy's trying to get him out ASAP. I wonder if he'll be in there by January 20th. Excuse me, Donald, would you like to watch the inauguration? I think that should be part of his punishment. And seeing the large crowds. Queen of my world. Fragmentation. Anger and chains. Yeah. And he's going to be PO'd about it. I do think he will be taken to a facility of some kind there. The chains and the anger and the fragmentation makes me feel like he's starting to break down. And not just starting to break down, he's been breaking down. So, downcast pride. This will, this 25th Amendment will affect him more than you know. It will really make him angry and frustrated, and there's nothing he can do about it. Not really. Not with the chains. He's addicted to rage anyway. He's a rageaholic, in my opinion. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to get a sip of my coffee. Get a little tickle. Okay, you guys, this is great. I highly recommend that you get the Dark Mirror Oracle if you are someone who is a cardiomancy enthusiast, which means, card reader. This one is really, if you are reading on a variety, and usually we're not reading on always sunshine and lollipops. This oracle is very good. So get this for that Queen of my world. This is how he's feeling and going to be feeling, and I do think he will be in a facility. I set limits to my world. Inside, I am the queen, and outside is lost. So that sounds like Trump. I am my world, and my world is me. I am royalty. So it shows you how indifferent he remains. And even if he is put into an institution, I believe he will be, he's still going to maintain that everybody else it's everybody else's problem, that he's just going to be very pig-headed about it, and that he's a megalomaniac. Anyway, the emperor still doesn't get it, but he will. Okay, are you ready for fragmentation? When rage is projected inwards, destruction joins confusion, and we break. Losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a decrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. Methinks it's going to be a little bit of a problem for him in there. Now let's just have a quick pick at anger and chains. Force channeled outside. Unreasonable, undirected, but powerful. Sentence is, for this card, is I've got to break free. I want to be free. He's going to be enraged that he is not. That he is in some sort of institution. That is very confining. Downcast pride. Bending to adapt becomes an excuse for the habit of bending. Some of these things make me go, huh? But that's just because sometimes I'm Earth to Maya. So the sentence for this card, which is Downcast Pride, is the root of sadness and grief is deeper than the skin. The only delusion is the gray sky. So he's going to have to learn how to survive in there and to adapt. And this is saying that he's going to be stripped of his dignity and his sense of who he is, his self-identity. And despite this attitude of no, 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 initially, once he's there, he will break. And I believe his pride will be broken. And that's what the universe is seeking to do. He has to sacrifice his pride, his vanity, and frankly, his dignity. So this will finally, I think, pierce that bubble of where no consequences could really ever sink in. So I do believe that he will be going, and fairly soon, as far as time as the universe is concerned, it's like right on him. But for us, it could be a little bit yet. Could be days. Because I know that I think Nancy wants him out of there. And a lot of them want him out of there before he does something again. Because I think he would. He's unraveling. That it is showing me. And where he's going to go from the office is, I think, to some sort of a facility. Or if he's going to be in some kind of facility. And he's going to still be, at first he's going to be maintaining that it's everybody else out to get him. But as he is more isolated, he will break. So I believe he would be in some sort of a means by which he is cut off from that which has sustained him. His family, to do his dirty work. Doesn't mean that they won't still be trying, but they'll be in trouble too. It's finally going to really punch a hole in his overinflated, disgusting, cyst-like erupting ego. Alone in the world. I knew it. He's going to end up feeling very lonely and sorry for himself. And that comes in to my dream of him months ago, where he was asking, basically wanting some people to feel sorry for him. And I think that is the stage that we're going to be going toward once he is put in some sort of a facility. And I think it is a facility. He's going to feel cut off from his family, cut off from social media, because then there will be, like I said, no way for him to access or even create fake accounts. Masquerade. He's going to have to deal with the fakeness and the bullshit of his life that he hasn't lived authentically. Black flower fragrance, that's the rot on the inside. And I won't cry for you. He's going to want empathy, but he's going to find hard-pressed to find it with the I won't cry for you. And as he is enraged, this ugliness inside the darkness in him comes out more. If you can believe it, there's more. Like I said, it's like the never erupting grotesque cyst. Hold on a sec. So, people are not going to feel sorry for him. The interesting thing about the I won't cry for you card is, and I'll read the sentence, I gave you my last gift. I shed my last tear for you. It's a time not to let you free, but to let myself free. So my feeling, and as he's going darker and darker, people will retreat. And he's going to be more and more feeling more and more alone, and people will not be giving him that sympathy that he is seeking. And I think he will recess back into more of his childhood. He is just going to become fully consumed in darkness. It is only going to become more pronounced once he is in some kind of facility. I think he will lash out at the people, whoever, God help them, who have to take care of him or deal with him. He's going to be a miserable person. And it shows, if you can believe it or not, that this darkness is just going to grow within him. And he's turning dark. He's turning more and more and more dark. Ugh. That's very unpleasant energy. Fated to suffer. And blinded to pain. So he's fated to suffer now. The blinded to pain, let's take a look at that, 13. I can shoulder it. It's not a big deal, isn't it? Carving oneself for every stroke of whip and feeling so broken that makes no difference to behold. He's going to break all the way down. And he is going to suffer things that are consequential, that are lifetime oriented. So, like, that's bad. We can stop now. Okay, so there's on trip. Now I'm going to do Jared Kushner. Okay? I'll see you in the next video.